The easiest way that I've found to describe Matthew's Hope is that Matthew's Hope is a ministry first and foremost, demonstrating the love, hope, grace, and mercy of Jesus Christ in all we do. And we're a facilitator of opportunity for those who choose, and that's a real key word there, choose to move forward towards a life of independence and self-sustainability. You know, I am often asked why I started Matthew's Hope, and I don't know I have one clear defined answer. It really came down to, out of necessity, seeing that nothing else was being done out there, and what was being done out there, in my opinion, was perpetuating homelessness. When I first moved out here, I was living in Oakland, and I was talking to people about the homeless in the area, and everybody said, we don't have any homeless people out here, and my response was, well, we have a hell of a lot of campers then. Going forward from there, really was looking and seeing what's the basic needs, and it really was at the time, if I could help people get socks and underwear, it's like the angels would sing. And unless somebody's been homeless or served in the military, they really don't know what that feels like. And that's kind of just the starting point from there. I've been through a lot of the things that our folks are seeing and experiencing, and I know that in times when I needed help, there was plenty of organizations and people that would, you know, hand me a couple dollars, and I normally never use that the way they wanted me to, and there were people that would help me with food and clothing, but there really wasn't anything out there that was focused on moving people towards a life of independence and self-sustainability. And so I think that's why we focus so much on saying, help us, help them, help themselves, is because really most folks, if they're going to get out of homelessness, it's really going to be a matter of them having someone guide and walk with them while they make the journey. We were forced by necessity to do some things differently when the pandemic hit. And one thing it did is we developed mobile teams that would go out in the community and meet people where they were. One of the people we came across that you're going to hear more about later is Hector. And here's a man who became totally blind due to severe cataracts. And when I say totally blind, it had gone pitch black on him. And he also had other health issues out there that were not being addressed.
If I don't go to the doctor, that day that when Mr. Cabo told me, Miss Nancy, I was probably dead by now.
And here's a man who's got severe gout, some other health issues, he can't see, and he's being trespassed from places, which I get completely, except for the standpoint of when you get trespassed, you're blind and you're basically disabled due to your health issues, then what? And the beauty of it is that Matthew's Hope was able to take Hector by the hand, walk with him into a place that when you see him today, you wouldn't even realize it's the same guy.
My name is Shannon Mickler, and I am from Winter Garden, Florida, born and raised.
Another very cool story of hope that y'all need to hear about is one of Shannon. Here's to kind of put in perspective for you is that her last OD, the last time she OD'd, hear what I'm saying to you, the last time she OD'd was December of 2019 from heroin. Fast forward to today, Shannon is clean. You wouldn't even recognize her. She couldn't make eye contact. She didn't really talk. She was skin and bones. I mean, she was death walking.
My journey with Matthew's Hope started out as I came to volunteer so that they could get to know me, know my work ethic. I got told one afternoon if I was still interested in housing, and I just remember the outflow of tears that came because I felt like it was a way out of everything I fought to leave behind. I worked the program, I graduated, which is awesome. I've never graduated from anything in my life. Right now at Matthew's Hope, I work outreach days and I also work at Hope Chest.
And you look at her now and she's this incredible, fascinating young woman who has now come back together with her children are back in her life. She's been able to go to work. You want to see how powerful this God is of ours? You just take 5 minutes with Shannon and you'll have no doubt that how strong and how powerful God is in all this.
Honestly, I can't imagine where I would be today. It wouldn't be anything close to what I've accomplished today. I just needed a new beginning, and Matthew's Hope was it.
We needed to come up with some way to allow people to transition out of a lifestyle they've been accustomed to being homeless. And that's where the idea of the transitional housing came up. I literally had a dream, a vision, you can call it whatever you like to, is that we needed to have a cluster of homes. And I literally went out in my car and I started driving Winter Garden, and I literally came across a cluster of homes. We made an offer for the houses of $175,000, and we didn't have $175,000. So we got them to agree to give us a 30-day due diligence if I gave them a $5,000 check that we would lose if we couldn't make this deal come through. And that was for us to try to figure out how do we come up with the money. And so Matthews Hope helpers were developed. People were allowed to purchase, or if you will, almost like a stock, but they basically invested $10,000 with a 4% return, 20-year amortization with a 5-year balloon, because I knew in 5 years we'd have credit. And I must have had a particularly strong vision day, because these places were awful. They were absolutely awful. And now they're actually a showcase to the center of Winter Garden and appraised at nearly $1 million this past year, which has helped us reuse some of that money that we developed to launch our medical program and some of the other things that we're doing. One of the things that people need to be aware of is that anybody who wants to work at Matthews Hope can. The workshop and the Hope Chest store are one and the same from the standpoint of this, is that we needed an additional outlet to showcase, if you will, that we had these men and women with tremendous skill sets and how we could get them to cross-train each other and then put them in an employment type situation. When you look at the Hope Chest, we have the wood shop and then we have the store. It really is a place that homeless men and women are really doing everything. They're building it, they're selling it, they're designing it. The person that checks you out at the Hope Chest, there's a good possibility they're a homeless man or woman who's either in our program or working their way into our housing program so they can be part of our moving forward. And we pay points rather than dollars, but points are backed by real dollars, and they're controlled in how they can be spent. Like an example, we've had people buy cars, pay child support so they can see their children, buy computers for school. But one case in particular that was more recent is Miguel, who literally was a broken and pretty bitter man. I mean, he was kind of angry and pissy all the time. But what had happened at 55 years old, he would say he couldn't read, and we thought maybe that meant he didn't know how to read, till we discovered that in fact his cataracts were so bad he had become legally blind.
I'm a mason by trade. I couldn't see, so I couldn't work. So my vision, I could only see 10 feet in front of me. I had to have my mail read to me and everything. If I had not found Matthews Hope, I don't think I'd be alive, because I had already given up on living already. I had already tried to drink myself to death. They offered me a chance to get into the program. I decided to go to detox, and I've been sober since.
And so he started working literally around here and became sober. Not only has he had his sight restored to 20/20 vision, but he's had his teeth replaced. And after 20 years, he gets his license back, which opens a whole nother set of doors for him. But the most incredible part is, much like him restoring wood and refinishing this stuff, his life was restored to where he's become this person now that you like to be around and has these incredible skill sets that I think some of them he didn't even know he had until he sat there and worked with us.
I would like to thank Matthews Hope for everything they've done for me, and hopefully I'll be able to repay them back in some other way.
It's been an interesting journey, to say the least. You know, where we've come from and where we're going is always kind of hard to say, but you know, when you think of less than a dozen years ago, we were socks and underwear, and today we assist with medical, dental, optical, mental health care. We have 14 transitional homes. We have a Montessori preschool. We've opened up a daycare. We have a shop that's custom building furniture, refinishing, refurbishing furniture. We have now a store, not a thrift store, but a boutique type store that sells really upper end quality hardwood furniture. We help with birth certificates, Social Security cards, Social Security benefits, VA benefits, legal issues, financial planning. I mean, it's easier to say what we don't do than it does anymore to say than what we actually do on a regular basis. Matthews Hope has done nothing but grow in 12 years, and it's only done that because of you. It's really important for each of you to understand how important the role is you play at Matthews Hope. And a lot of people go, you know, why, I've never even been there. Or, you know, I'm telling you, we cannot do this without you. The stories that we're sharing are stories that would not have taken place without you. You got to know, we don't take any government funding, never have. And we're grassroots all the way through. In fact, about 65 to 70% of our money that comes in every year is from people like you and I, just everyday people that have made a commitment to Matthew's Hope to give, many on a regular basis as sustaining donors. Others do a large donation at the end of the year. But you know, my feelings are do what you can, not what you can't. I mean, if you can pen a $10,000 check and God has blessed you that way, by all means do that. If you're in a position where you can just give a few hours a week or offer a skill set that you might have to help us out, then do that. The bottom line is do what you can, not what you can't. And that's literally the mantra of Matthew's Hope. Again, if you don't see God's hand on this place, again, you just are missing something so incredible. He used you. That's how this happened. He used you to help us help them. And that's how this thing works.